As the demand for faster customer service continues to rise on the back of a difficult few years, automation now is racing across the industries of the world. And with new automated solutions and tools comes new opportunity for energy operators to enhance their service levels and strategic processes. So what are these tools and how can you leverage them? That and much more are just ahead on this episode of Plugged In. Hello and welcome everyone to a brand new episode of Plugged In, our energy and utility podcast that discusses the challenges, solutions, and latest technological innovations of the industry. I'm your host, Mark Babin. Thank you so much for being with me today. In this episode, we'll be discussing a very hot topic within the energy industry, and that is, of course, automation. With the latest advancements in AI and data capture, automation seems like the next obvious step for energy operators to be taking. From customer autonomy to seamless data integration, we have a lot to dive into on this episode, so stick around and get that notepad ready. And to have this conversation, a big topic as it is, we are very excited to welcome an expert on, of course, automation and AI, Nuna Isabekian. She's the founder and CTO at Connect AI, a continuously learning platform for proactive, personalized, and automated customer care. Nuna, thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to have you. Really looking forward to diving into what's a growing topic in the industry.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having the opportunity. Yeah,
absolutely.
Glad to be here.
Great. So let's jump right in to the matter at hand. Over the past while, we've seen a dramatic shift in energy, one that we've been kind of waiting to happen. It's happened in the other industries on and on, but maybe spurred on by the last couple of years. We've seen everything go from a very linear operation where the operator sort of dictates everything to a much more customer-centric model where everything has to relate back to the customer engagement. Everything is much, much more important. Has this shift driven the demand for automation, or are there other elements at play from what you see that has continued to make automation more of a talked about topic in the industry?
The way I see it, generally, let's for a second talk about all the industries in general, right? When the internet race happened, there was not a lot of media, there was not a lot of social marketing, and the companies had to provide good quality to gain more customers and gain more visibility. And the high quality was customer centric. Then we had social media, Facebook, Twitter, and basically the more money you had to throw on marketing, the more traffic you would get and the more popular you. Now that it is overwhelming, companies are going back to high quality, and high quality in my eyes means customer-centric companies. And as we were talking, like the industry is a bit behind all of the other industries. So I think we're just seeing energy and utilities catching up with all the rest of the world, where you are chosen based on the products you provide, based on the features you provide, and the customer is dictating it. So that's one part of being more automated, and of course the other side of it is operators and the workforce situation in the region we're in. That is also demanding. That's also demanding to remove all the mundane tasks from the operators, so they can focus into indeed becoming customer-centric and handling those complicated questions that the customers have.
You bring up an interesting point. Is customer-centric becoming the new greenwashing word? Is it just like the buzzword that everyone wants to say, we are customer-centric, but maybe they're not truly embracing it, like you say, like a true customer-centric operation? Is that becoming a little bit buzzwordy?
It does, but it also, for me, is a synonym of quality. Mm-hmm. How else do you prove your quality if not providing the experience for the customer? And everybody wants to feel special. That's why people want to talk with a human agent. They don't want to talk with a bot, right? But the question here is, what if the bot is treating you special? What if we use AI and ML technologies to provide you this feeling of being special? That's where I think all the technologies kick in to satisfy the need of the customers to feel special, to feel treated in a high quality. But also, why not save the money on the side of the provider by automating things as much as possible?
That balance between too autonomous and that human aspect, like you said, people want to talk to a real human. I think people have it in their mind of chatbots just being annoying and just get me to a human. The last thing you want to do is go through press 1 for this, press 2 for this.
Exactly.
How do you balance that? Because automated processes have to become automated. I mean, they have to be. You can't have a human answering the phone all the time.
Yeah, they don't have to just become automated. They have to become personalized as well. And even though it's easier and on the technical side, and even though it's more logical to press 1 or 2 or 3, what the customers would like to be is to simply, for example, be greeted by their name when they call. Mm-hmm. They want to say what they want to do just by saying the phrase they want to say, and not some predefined phrase. And all of that is possible, and all of that is used in other industries. When you book a hotel or you book a trip, the experience is different. Why not bring that into the energy industry? It starts with this kind of simple things as a greeting, and it ends up being a prediction of your action, because you have been calling us for the last year every day to ask to update your meter value. So we know you're going to call next year at the same day probably, so we can predict that and then make your experience nicer, make the quality higher.
Where should operators draw inspiration from then in this way? Because like you say, the other industries are doing it. Is that where the inspiration has to come from? What will it take for operators to truly understand that, hey, the technology is here, the solutions are here for this?
Oh, they should talk with their operators, their current agents, because those people are working with people every day. This thing when you call and they say, hey, we're going to record this conversation to improve the quality, well, guess what? It actually can be used for that, right? And we have done it. Before starting Connect AI, we went through conversations that, of course, we were allowed to use. And we noticed patterns. We noticed every conversation starts with a greeting. It starts with authentication of a customer, like what is your contract ID? What is your meter ID? Then it goes into what do you want to do? There's a phrase, so there is a second phase where you try to understand what the customer wants, and of course finally you do actually the request of the customer. And identification of those phases, you see that two parts of it at least, which is the authentication and the intent recognition. Those are the things that other industries, and here where you can learn from other industries, have already automated. And that's where the ML comes in, where you can use the NLP technologies to just identify the request. Also, I think now that we're talking, what came to me is that especially in the DACH region, right? The technologies came to the degree that the German language recognition is better quality now, because it's first usually the technologies come to English, but now the German language is also well supported by cloud providers, so that enabled also us to go to the market with that kind of solution.
Do you feel like the generation that's coming and starting to buy houses and fill the economy a bit more than in the past, are they ready? Are they more okay with these types of solutions than perhaps the generations of past? I think that kind of answers itself a little bit, but are they truly ready to have no human interaction with these processes?
I think they're truly demanding not to have a human interaction, right?
Okay.
I don't know. I think you can call this maybe a race of introverts, right? And I have a hard time picking up the phone and calling and speaking with a human, right? I'd better talk with bot. And I think more and more people like this come to adulthood, and hence they want to do their mundane and boring tasks that are related to energy also the same way they do all of their other things in life, which is completely connected to technologies and internet.
Yeah. So switching gears and coming off of the customer side, and you mentioned mundane processes, I think within the operation on the back end, there's a lot of people doing a lot of things where maybe they don't need to be doing that. Is there a place for automation and AI within the operations of an operator?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it starts with removing all the obvious steps, like I said, the authentication, the intent recognition, and then it goes. And because let's face it, we can't automate everything. There's always special cases. There's always complicated situations when you need to figure out what the customer, what's the problem when the customer doesn't even know the problem. So there's always going to be an agent. But we can make their life easy. We can provide hints. We can provide background information. How many times there's been that you send an email and then you call, and this person you called doesn't have a clue about your email, even though you sent it, I don't know, 5 minutes ago, right? And it doesn't have to be painful. It is easy from the IT perspective to fetch that information and to show it to the agent. And another thing that is going in the direction of personalization, people want to talk with the agent they have talked to previously because this person knows them, the person knows the problem. And again, this is something easy we can implement. We can always try to connect you to the same person, and then it truly feels like a tailored solution for you. So it's a win-win-win in my eyes. Win for the customer, win for the agent, and win for the provider.
And it's something that's going to be a must-have, I think, in the next 5 to 10 years. If you don't get on this train now, you're going to be left in the dust.
Yeah, exactly. Just like we've seen in other industries, fintech has been fighting it. Flights and booking has been fighting, but it's just coming. There's no way around it.
Yeah. For those listening that maybe they've gone, okay, I get it, this is coming, I don't know where to look. What are those first steps that will help them to either educate themselves better or to take those, big footsteps out the door?
Well, when it comes to our company, that's of course us Connect AI website. But I mean, you see it everywhere. From coming as a CTO, right? I can talk about cloud providers. I can talk about AWS and Azure that provide these technologies also to providers and big companies. If you have an IT workforce and you have trouble grasping it right now, public cloud is your way to go because it's full of services you can use, and it's just waiting for you to come and for them to provide you with services, right? And then once you figure out what is it that you specifically need, you can build your own, you can improve.
Okay. How do they balance I think every company wants to see themselves as a proactive company when they're taking these steps forward in the planning phase, but how do they do that without just reacting to what's happening and then making perhaps too short-term solutions? They're jumping in too fast, too deep. Is there a step that you see as vital when you work with people on those initial steps on building a plan of longevity so that this is something that's going to, stick for the next generation?
Yeah, I think this is a generic problem and a challenge for any company, and the buzzword for that is strategy. You have to lean back, you have to review where your company is going, where your competitors are going, or where they are already, and you have to make sometimes hard decisions to cut parts of maybe or even organization that are keeping you behind, And I'm not talking about laying off people. I'm talking about investing into education. I'm talking about investing into reshaping of organizations. This is nothing industry specific. This is nothing even issue specific. This is a generic looking ahead strategy for the companies.
And does the agility then plays a role? Bigger companies obviously are less agile to make these sort of things, but they all play a role in the ecosystem of moving the technology forward, right?
Oh, yeah, from that perspective, with the big companies, right, there's always a disruptive department within those big companies. And personally, I love to work with those departments because it feels like a startup within a big company. And that's why if you are a person from a big company listening to this podcast, just look around right inside your company. Look around for people who keep trying to push some new ideas. Maybe they don't see a business side, but instead of just telling them, hey, you don't understand business side, try to educate them from that direction and learn from them maybe a couple of new things.
That's a really great point. And just a word for the smaller operators, the ISVs that are trying to move in this way. Any advice for them on sort of how they can leapfrog competitors? Because I think we saw that in other industries, those that adapt quickly can literally make giant steps forward.
If you would have asked me 2 years ago, I would say, yeah, build your own solution and find IT people and build this IT department. Now that I've learned, you have to partner. You have to find the companies that already did that, find out who they worked with, find success stories, invest into that. It takes more time for investigation and tryouts, but you just cannot do everything on your own. So you have to focus on your core business and give people who know the technologies the opportunity to help you. Because again, if in the beginnings of internet, everybody who knew a bit could build their own website, now it's becoming so complicated that you just have to partner with somebody who does their job.
And there's a lot of people out there that specialize in different elements of this process, whether it's what you do, what we do, everyone we're seeing here, everyone has their specialty. And developing those partnerships and those relationships should then create a longer lasting shared success rather than transactional.
Exactly. It is a buzzword, but focus on your core business. Focus on what you do well, and let others also do their job and help you.
Fantastic. Really, really great advice. Fantastic talk. Thank you so much for coming by. It's been great. Any final notes before we sign off?
Keep your mind open, and visit Connect AI website.
Always.
No. Thanks a lot. I wish this podcast and your company also success.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
And for everyone watching, thank you very much for joining us on this episode. A lot of great advice, no matter where you are in your company, no matter what kind of company you are. This is all moving forward and it's happening very quickly. The shift is here. So take action, but do it in a smart way. Develop those partnerships, develop those relationships, and keep forcing change. I think that's the final message. So again, thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions about what you heard today or you want to add to the conversation, I'll put our LinkedIn description of the video. You can go ahead and check those out. Reach out to us. If you have any questions, we can have those conversations there or in the comment section of the video. We can, of course, answer any questions you have there. So again, thank you for watching for this episode of Plugged In. My name is Mark Babin. It's been great having you. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now. Nailed it.